Hello artists, this week we're learning about value. Value is how light or dark a color is. You can tell in the word value I have a dark value at the bottom of the letters, and as it goes up the value gets lighter and lighter and lighter. Today for our art project we're going to be making Among Us characters using a darker value or a shade of the color at the bottom. Now I had so much fun making this, I had to make lots of examples. These were all done with color pencils, but we're going to be using crayons today. At least I will be using crayons in my demonstration. But color pencils also work really well. Alright, so before we use value, we have to learn how to draw our Among Us character. This one I did on half a sheet of paper, but for my demonstration I'm actually going to make it a fourth of a piece of paper, just because it's a little bit easier to color when you have a smaller character. So I have a regular sheet of computer paper here, although you could use notebook paper if you want. You fold it in half, and then you fold it in half again. So I like to line up my corners, and then push down. Alright, so that gives us a paper that's cut and drawn into 4 sections. Alright, so in one of the sections we're going to start by drawing our Among Us character. So for this project we need a pencil to start with, and then I also used a black Sharpie, but you could also use any kind of black tracing pen, and then choose what your favorite Among Us character color would be. I think I'm going to use lime on this one, or yellow-green if you want to be exact. And you'll also need a black crayon and a white crayon as well. Now I learned a secret about crayons. If you want to make it pointy again, use an old pencil sharpener and a trash can. Have a trash can nearby because it does make kind of a mess. But you can sharpen the tips of your crayons again using just a pencil sharpener. Alright, so to start with our pencil. We're going to start by drawing the eye part of our character. It's going to be about the size of, let me think, an almond maybe? And it's an oval, but it gets a little bit skinnier towards the end, and I made mine a little bit too low. I was starting to draw it like I drew on that other page, a little bit too big. So something like that. So it's a little bit skinnier on the outside and a little bit wider on this side here. Speaking of value, if you draw with a light value, meaning if you press gently with your pencil, it's a lot easier to erase. Alright, so once we have his little I guess this is eye area, we can add a little reflection area here. It's just a little oval at the top section of his looking out area. And then not on the end, but come in a little bit. This is where the top of his head's going to go. So it comes up like he's got a bowl on his head. It's a little bit flat on the top. And then keep going past the little eye section to here. So you see it kind of looks like a bowl. Whoops. Went a little bit crazy there. There we go. And then now I'm going to draw straight down. And then pretend you're drawing, but don't actually draw on his eye area. And this straight down from here is where the bottom part of his body is going to be. And it comes down like that, and then we're going to put the little divide between his legs. It's going to go a little bit closer to this side. This leg is going to be right here. I wouldn't make it too pointy, you want it a little bit roundy. And in this part we're not going to start here, we're going to scoot in a little bit to about here so that they're equal. And again with the roundy feet. And then his backpack is going to start in the middle of this section, so right here. So if we were to cut this eye section in half, this is where the backpack starts, and it ends right about where his legs start. And it's got a little bit of a roundy. It's about as thick as a pencil. Goes straight down, and then a little roundy here. Alright, so there we've got our little Among Us character. I might make his helmet a little bit more tilted here. I think I had a little bit too straight up and down. Okay, so after you have created the basic outline, I like to trace my character, and I'm going to open this so it doesn't go through. You definitely want something on your table if you're using a permanent marker so that it doesn't get all over your table. Alright, and you can trace him. This is not necessary, it just kind of gives it a fun little cartoony effect. And then if you would like to get rid of some of your eraser shavings, you can go back and erase the pencil. Okay, so now we're ready to color using value. So we watched in the video, or hopefully you watched the video before this on value, and how if you want to add shade to your hue or your color, you add black. So we want to add some shade to the bottom section. This is where it's going to be darker, where the shadow is. So, but before we do that, I found that it's better to color everything, the hue first, the color first. Whoop, I was going to do lime. So we're going to color it pretty dark. So you want to put a pretty strong value on this. You want to push down pretty hard with your crayon. The harder you press down, I feel like the better this is going to turn out. This is also why I feel like if you make a smaller version, it might be a little bit easier. Otherwise, you're going to be pushing really hard for a very large character, and it takes a lot of muscle power to get it completely colored. Alright, so filling in our lime character. This might be a little bit yellowy for the actual video game character. Alright, almost done. It actually works a little bit better if you color in all one direction, but I'm trying to go kind of quick. Alright, now his head. And then his backpack is also going to be the same color as him, but leave his eye opening white for now. Okay, now we've got all of the lime section colored. Now we're going to add our shade. So it's going to start right about here, very, very lightly. You're doing a very light value. You're going to draw the shadow. It goes like a big U shape, and it doesn't go up as high as it starts. So it starts higher on the backpack, but it ends pretty low. And then very lightly, also, you're going to have a little section here on the backpack. Hopefully y'all can see that. And then very lightly, we're going to color black on top of our lime section. I like to do little circles. I don't know if you can see me. I'll go slow motion. This is how I color. Little tiny circles. Not big colors like I was doing earlier, but little tiny fast circles. So we're adding the shadow where the sun would not be shining as strongly, or light, I guess, in this case, because he's in space most of the time. So filling in all that bottom section. So we could leave it like this, and if you are a beginner, you can leave it like this, and this is absolutely okay. But what I've found is if you want it to blend even better, you go over it again with your original hue, which would be my lime color. It's going to smear some of your lines around and make it look a little more uniform and a little more like a computer animated graphic. Ooh, I'm shaking the camera badly. Apologize for that. But it takes all those colory lines, at least most of them, out, so it looks a little smoother. Alright, so now we have shade. I feel like this needs a little bit darker here and a little bit darker there, and then I'm going to go back over it. And the thing about coloring dark, like I have a smudge here. Since I've done dark layers, sometimes you can kind of scratch out some of the offending areas and go back and fix it a little bit. Alright, so we've done his body. Now I'm going to do his helmet. His helmet is blue. So here's my examples. You can see it's a light blue and a darker blue. I think I got a little closer to it here. So what we're going to do, again, very, 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 very lightly, we're going to do the black part first. You could do the blue and then black and then blue again. I'm just going to do black first. Looks like a Nike swoosh almost. It starts high and then it goes straight. Very lightly. Do not do this dark or you'll have a big black section. You don't want black. We want a dark, dark blue. Alright, and so then we want a, what's it called? Tent? Yes, we want a tent. That is not what you go camping in, but the light section. We want a white version of blue. So I'm going to push kind of hard here. I'm going to color everywhere up here white that I want it to be light blue. I tried several variations on the back of my paper to see how I wanted to do it. You can see where I practiced. So if you want to practice out how you're going to do things first, that's always a good idea before committing to your final drawing. Alright, colored that pretty dark. You won't be able to see it because it's white, so you're going to have to just trust that you did the right things. Alright, and then now I need a blue crayon. Let's see. We have blue-green. I'll use this one since I already used it. That might be a little bit closer to the actual color. And then that's true blue. I'm going to go with the blue-green. You could use any color blue, honestly. And then this is going to go pretty dark. You want a dark value. So maybe I should have done the regular blue. That's pretty green. So coloring it dark. Continue to color it dark here. Hopefully the white is dark enough so that it should be nice and faint. Nice tint of your blue. Alright, I might go back over this with my white, with the white, see if I can lighten it up even more. And there you have it, our little Among Us guy. It works a little bit smoother with colored pencils because some of the wax might pull off. You can see it has little spots where the color got pulled away. And also you can go back with your marker and color, draw over any lines that may have gotten accidental little mistakes on it. But experiment with the back and see what you come up with. But this is basic how to do shade and tint on an Among Us character, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you all have fun. When I did my little examples, notice that I used complementary colors, orange and blue, purple and yellow, red and green, and then black and white to make them stand out just a little bit more. I hope you'll have fun and enjoy creating your Among Us characters this week.